Good afternoon. I am Amy Jacobs, the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning, and we are here for a very special announcement about Georgia's pre-K program, but I want to pause and recognize that our state, specifically a southern part of our state, is dealing with what could be devastation in wildfires. And so we want to make sure that all of the citizens and the first responders who are already responding to that potential tragedy are in our prayers and our thoughts. And I know Governor Kemp and his team will be on it like they are everything that comes your way, Governor. I'm sorry about that, but I know you'll be there. But I want to take a few minutes and really talk about what we're here for today as well. And I'm here to welcome you to this very special event recognizing Georgia's pre-K program and an accomplishment of which all Georgians can be proud. Today, we're here to celebrate our state's high-quality early learning program, which is being recognized for delivering the highest standards. Georgia's flagship program that has placed our great state at the top of the list of early childhood education in our nation. The origin of the word standards comes from the 15th century, meaning a literal flag or banner used in battle. Later, the word was used to refer to authoritative measures or benchmarks, such as the King's standards of weights and measures, and to mean an example of quality or correctness. By the 18th century, the definition of standards had evolved to mean a metaphorical symbol of authority, quality, and measurement. Learning these facts about the origin and evolution of the word standard helped me better understand the awesome significance of today's event. Today, Georgia's pre-K program is being distinguished as an example of quality and correctness, having attained authoritative measures or benchmarks, standards, established by one of our country's most respected early education research organizations. Each year, the National Institute for Early Education Research, NIER, issues the only national report on the state of preschool, illustrating the importance of access to high-quality preschool and reporting on each state's level of funding, access, and of course quality, which they measure using 10 quality standards or benchmarks. We are honored that they chose Georgia to release their annual report and to recognize Georgia's pre-K program. Today, Georgia's pre-K program is being recognized as a step above the rest. I'll be followed at this podium by people who will talk more eloquently about Georgia's pre-K, what we've accomplished most recently, and the significance of this accomplishment. But I'll start by mentioning just a few facts that make Georgia pre-K unique. 34 years since 1992, serving 4-year-olds and their families. More than 2 million children served and better prepared for kindergarten. A $10 billion investment from the Georgia Lottery for Education, reaching every corner of Georgia in all 159 counties, and removing barriers by offering quality education at no cost for families. Georgia's pre-K program provides a solid foundation for kindergarten and future learning. In fact, students enrolled in Georgia pre-K make gains across all areas of learning, especially literacy, surpassing what's expected of their age group, and they attain higher scores on third grade reading assessments. Ultimately, these students are better prepared for future educational success and lifelong achievement. Now, it's my honor to turn the program over to one of Georgia pre-K program's most committed champions. Governor Brian Kemp, First Lady Marty Kemp, and their administration have supported Georgia pre-K since beginning public service years ago and have led the efforts to increase the state's investment in early care and education. From day one of his first term, the governor included pre-K lead and assistant teachers in every bonus and salary adjustment he generously provided for all teachers in our state, recognizing the importance of their daily commitment to high-quality early learning. Notably, Governor Kemp championed the final piece Georgia pre-K's program needed to continue delivering the highest quality early education to 4-year-olds in smaller classes. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership and your support. The podium is yours.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Commissioner Jacobs. Thank you so much, and congratulations to you and the team. I want to thank you for the kind introduction, but also for all that you do for Georgia students and our families statewide. If you'll indulge me just a moment, there's been an awful lot going on today. I want to start by offering our condolences to the family and friends of U.S. Representative David Scott, who passed away just a little while ago. Congressman Scott has served our state for many years. He was a champion for so many communities, especially our agriculture industry, and his impact will be felt for years, and our prayers are with him and his loved ones at this time. Also, as Amy mentioned, while we're here this afternoon, I wanted to make, as we are here this afternoon, to make note of an incredible milestone for our state and our young learners. I'm also mindful, as Amy mentioned, of those in South Georgia who are actively fighting wildfires, but also the many families that unfortunately have lost their homes in these just extreme and terrible conditions. Earlier today, Johnny Sabo, the state forester, issued the first burn ban in Georgia Forestry Commission history for 91 counties in South Georgia. Just moments ago, my office posted a state of emergency for that same area so we can continue to provide all necessary state assets be put into this fight, which will now include bringing up National Guard resources, especially aviation assets. We're also working closely with the Environmental Protection Division as they work towards issuing a statewide level 1 drought notification in the coming days. As many of you know, all of Georgia is in a severe drought right now, and South Georgia is taking the brunt of these bad conditions with the wildfires that are literally tearing through communities. I want to ask all Georgians to be mindful of just how dry things are and how everyone needs to be mindful of this burn ban and take extra care and precaution not to do something that could accidentally start a fire, causing us to pull resources from other fires that we're already fighting. These are things like welding outside in a dangerous environment, literally tossing a cigarette out of a moving vehicle, and other simple things like that. As Director Szabo said earlier, even just one spark or ember can ignite a life-threatening wildfire. So we will need to remain vigilant. We also need to keep all the first responders and GFC firefighters who are battling these fires around the clock in our thoughts and prayers, as well as the families who have lost homes and irreplaceable items. And we'll talk a little more off the side with the media about the assets that we have. These are certainly serious circumstances that we're facing, but we know that we'll get through this as we work together. We also know, as Amy just mentioned, this announcement was too important to pass over without taking at least a few minutes to acknowledge the incredible work and achievement of our early care and learning team. I am so glad to be joined by someone who also spent a little time in the classroom, the best First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp. We are honored. We are both honored to join in announcing this year's incredible achievement for Georgia's pre-K program and the Department of Early Care and Learning team. I want to first start by thanking all of the legislators who are with us that do so much to support education and our young learners, including Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones, members of the House Education Committee, Senator Chuck Payne. I know there's Sandy Donatucci. I'm sure there's other legislators here that I'll miss, but thank you all. The members of the General Assembly have been in this battle, fight, success with us, and just want to thank you all for your support. I also want to recognize Gretchen Corbin, the President and CEO of the Georgia Lottery, and a great partner in funding the early start to lifelong education for our Georgia students. I also want to recognize the team from the National Institute for Early Education Research who's here with us today, and thank you for this great recognition. Representative Katie Dempsey and Representative Bethany Ballard too. Sorry, I missed y'all earlier. And finally, I just want to thank all the educators who are here with us, but also those who aren't and are across the state. Thank you for all that you do to give young Georgians the foundation they need to succeed both in and beyond the classroom. That indispensable service is why we're putting more toward education than ever before in our state's history. That includes raising teacher pay by $9,500 just since I first took office, far outpacing the promise I made to raise pay by $5,000 when I first ran for governor. We're also investing in our assistant teachers, who saw their salaries increase over 27% just last school year alone. But we also know that one of the most impactful things we can do to help our teachers and students succeed is by lowering class headcount sizes. As one of their 10 criteria points for this #1 ranking, NEAR also recognizes the importance of this factor, enabling each student to receive more time and attention. That's why we've invested so much in recent years to lowering class sizes to 20 students and in lowering our student-to-staff ratio to just 10 students to 1 staff member. Again, I want to thank the members of the General Assembly who have made this possible by working with us in prior years during the budgeting process. We call the funding we put towards pre-K program an investment because the benefits don't just show up immediately. We see them for literally generations afterwards. We see it when our pre-K students enter their K-12 careers better prepared with the foundational skills needed for greater learning. We see it through their time in school as that foundation builds on itself with each passing school year. And finally, we see the fruits of that investment when they leave school ready to seize opportunities in our robust workforce. That long-term and challenging work of raising the next generation of innovators, doctors, pilots, manufacturers, lawyers, and perhaps even legislators begins in our preschools. And like any good asset that grows across our state and brings so much economic benefit to our communities, the students who attend a Georgia pre-K take years to fully grow and mature, but their success on the other side of that decades-long journey is certainly well worth the wait. And given NEAR's announcement today, we know that their start is the very best it can be in the whole country. We talk a lot about Georgia being the best state to live, work, and raise a family in. And days like this are just another reminder that the investments, whether lottery or otherwise, that we put toward pre-K programs are well worth it. Someone I'm sure who is very pleased with this announcement as his portrait watches over us just around the corner is Governor Zell Miller. In 1992, he and the lottery started the pre-K program with 750 at-risk students as a pilot. 34 years later, the pre-K program can now serve 80,000 students, and untold numbers have benefited from the lottery twice now, once as a pre-K student and again as a Hope Scholarship or grant recipient. The most generous program of its kind in the country, Hope has allowed students to begin and end their education careers with the best possible footing for success. And again this year, with the legislature's help, we've added another means to benefiting Georgia students that complement Hope, and that is the Dream Scholarship, the first needs-based program of its kind in our state's history. So I'll close by thanking all those who impact students for the better of our state, from the first classroom they step foot in to the very last. Thank you to the Department of Early Care and Learning for their work building a strong pre-K program statewide, from Commissioner Jacobs all the way to the schools all across our state. This recognition isn't just about what we do on the state level. It's really about the quality of our teachers, assistants, and support staff each and every day. This is their achievement most of all, and I join NEAR and everyone here today in congratulating them on this incredible recognition. Thank you all again. Let's keep up the great work. Thank you. Great job.
Well, thank you, Governor, for always supporting DeKalb and Georgia Pre-K. What he didn't say is during his term, he's made over a $200 million investment in Georgia Pre-K, so you should get a little bit of credit for that. Next, I welcome Steve Barnett, who founded NEAR in 2002 and continues to serve as co-director, and Allison Krause, the NEAR Associate Research Professor and lead author of the 2025 State of Preschool Yearbook.
All right.
So I want to begin by thanking everyone for being here today. and offering special thank you to Governor Kemp, to First Lady Marty Kemp, Commissioner Jacobs, and members of the Georgia General Assembly for their work on behalf of young children. There is no more important work that you could be doing for the people of our country, for the citizens of Georgia. I do want to briefly remark and add to what the governors had to say about why Georgia's pre-K matters. Research from economics, my field, to neuroscience finds that the first 5 years of life lay the foundation for later success in school, success in life, and that the economic benefits of this are quite large, on the order of 10 times the size of the investment. So this is an investment that's important for the kids, for their families, but also for the taxpayers of your state. More than 20 years ago, the National Institute launched this State of Preschool yearbook based on an annual survey of all 50 states, DC, and the territories to track progress toward access to high-quality preschool for all, exactly because this is such an important investment. Unfortunately, today as then, access to high quality differs dramatically from one state to another, and even within states. And most children do not have access to the kind of high quality pre-K program that Georgia offers. And yet, over the last 2 decades, progress has been made, and that's why we're here to celebrate today this historic milestone, that Georgia becomes the first state to serve a majority of 4-year-olds and meet all 10 of these standards for policies regarding quality. These are standards regarding the resources, the teacher qualifications for learning and teaching, for reasonable class sizes, and also to have in place the elements of a continuous improvement system that mean this program isn't just standing still. It's not just about spending money. It's about getting results. And Georgia's program has in place the systems to make sure that that happens, and taxpayers are going to get the return on investment that they've been promised. So it's also important to know that Georgia doesn't just do the minimum. Right? Georgia has a 6.5-hour school day. The governor spoke about teacher pay, and teacher pay parity in preschool programs is not the norm around the country the way it is in Georgia. And you've started impressive summer transition programs. So Georgia's moving beyond the minimums to excellence in pre-K. It's delivered in a mix of roughly 50-50 public and private programs, so it leverages the private sector as well as the public sector. And we think Georgia can serve as a model for the rest of the nation. Georgia demonstrates you don't have to trade off serving all your kids with serving them with quality. Other states should take note. There's only 11 other states that serve most of their 4-year-olds. There's just 5 other states that hit all 10 of these quality benchmarks. And the intersection of those two groups is Georgia. Right? So this is a model for everyone else. Now, there are other states who are getting close. Michigan and Alabama, we expect in the next few years to increase enrollment and join Georgia. They already meet all 10 standards for quality. Oklahoma, West Virginia, New Mexico, and some other states serve majority of their kids and need to make some modest changes to reach that same standard as Georgia. But there are many other states that are far from this goal. That's unfortunate, and that's another reason that we're here today, to hold Georgia up as an example that this is possible. For more detail on this beyond the big picture, I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Allison Friedman-Krause.
Thank you, Steve. As Steve mentioned, I'll now share some additional findings from the 2025 State of Preschool Report that's now live on NEAR's website. You can visit near.org for more details. Overall, states reached record highs in preschool enrollment, and funding during the 2024-2025 school year, though the pace of growth slowed dramatically compared to what we saw in the previous year. Nearly 1.8 million children attended state preschool in the 2024-25 school year, including 37% of 4-year-olds and 9% of 3-year-olds. State spent $14.4 billion on preschool during fiscal year 2025, and this rises to $17.7 billion when including local and federal funding that states also put toward preschool programs. As Steve mentioned, this year a record 6 states met all 10 of NEAR's quality standard benchmarks. These states are Alabama, Georgia, Hawaii, Michigan, Mississippi, and Rhode Island. These are 6 very different states that provide examples for the other states on various pathways to meeting this high-quality benchmark. If providing high-quality preschool education to all 3- and 4-year-olds were a race, some states are nearing the finish line, others have stumbled and fallen behind, and a few have yet to leave the starting line. It's also not enough just to reach the enrollment finish line without regard for quality. To truly win the preschool race, states must have adequate funding per child and standards to support quality preschool programs that enhance learning and development. Meeting all of the benchmarks set out by NEAR for standards relating to quality, investing in full-day programs, and paying teachers on par with elementary school teachers are critical components of programs that want to win the preschool race. I'll first focus on the states nearing this finish line. Georgia is a prime example of a state very close to the finish line. The state, as Steve has talked about, provides universal access to 4-year-olds and now meets all 10 of NEAR's quality standard benchmarks. It was the only state this year to improve policies to meet additional of NEAR's quality standard benchmarks. Georgia could really cross that finish line by continuing to expand capacity in its program to reach enrollment of 4-year-olds closer to 70%, as well as to expand the program to 3-year-olds. Other states approaching the finish line, as Steve mentioned, include New Mexico, Oklahoma, Vermont, and West Virginia. These are all states that enroll at least half of their 4-year-olds and are within reach of meeting those 10 quality standard benchmarks. We hope to see a few of them added to the list, like Georgia, soon. 2 other states, as Steve mentioned, Alabama and Michigan, already meet all 10 of NEAR's quality standard benchmarks, and if they continue to expand the program as they've been doing, they'll soon surpass that 50% mark. California is also racing forward. Transitional kindergarten in California is now available to all age-eligible children, and we expect that enrollment will continue to grow and surpass the 50% mark soon. California spent $4.1 billion on preschool in the 2024-2025 school year across 2 programs. With anticipated increases in enrollment and reductions in class sizes, we expect that California will soon spend more on preschool than the amount that all states spent on preschool 24 years ago when we started this report. In real dollars, that is, adjusted for inflation. With 250,000 children enrolled across California in their 2 preschool programs, the state should continue to focus on raising quality standards. All the news was not good last year. Several states are falling behind in preschool enrollment, spending, or quality. The number of children enrolled in preschool declined in 20 states between the 24-25 school year and the 23-24 school year. State funding for preschool declined in 17 states adjusted for inflation, and 16 states spent less per child in 2024-25 than the prior year. Many states also remain further from the finish line than they were in the fall of 2019. 20 states enrolled fewer children in the 24-25 school year than they did before the COVID-19 pandemic. The states that have fallen behind the furthest in enrollment include Florida, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin. 14 states spent less on preschool in fiscal year 2025 than before the pandemic, and the states that decreased the most in spending include Kentucky, Nebraska, and Utah. And finally, there are 6 states that have not left the starting gate: Idaho, Indiana, New Hampshire, Montana, South Dakota, and Wyoming. All still do not fund a state-funded preschool program. though some of them do invest in other early childhood education programs that are similar. And with that, I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to everyone who's here today, everyone who has gotten Georgia to here today, and to especially the preschool students sitting so nicely up front. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it back to Commissioner Jacobs.
Well, thank you, Steve and Allison, for being here and for recognizing Georgia. And as I close this out, I want to just kind of reiterate what the governor said, and thank you to our legislators that are here. You've been a huge partner with us, specifically Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones, for your unwavering support of Georgia's pre-K program. She led the early education working group. She listened to teachers, providers, school administrators, and recognized the impact of Georgia's pre-K on our youngest learners. And we are thankful for your collaboration and your partnership with DECAL and the governor's office, which has helped to strengthen the program for future generations. We wish you well, but we will miss your presence under the Gold Dome. I also want to recognize very quickly two of our previous pre-K Teachers of the Year, Nathan Leatherwood and Meredy Brown. We also have our current pre-K Teachers of the Year, Autumn Hart, who teaches at Bundle of Joy Academy in Marietta, and Teresa Swim, who is a teacher at West Georgia Elementary School in Houston. So for the past 34 years, the program has enjoyed the support of Georgia's leaders, from Governor Miller to Governor Kemp, of Georgia's lawmakers and of Georgia's citizens. And because of that, Georgia's pre-K program has impacted the future of our state, one child, one family, one early and education provider at a time. So again, thank you, Governor Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp, Steve and Allison, thank you for being here. And thank you all for coming here today for this special event. As a native Georgian, I am proud of the success of Georgia's pre-K program and am committed to ensuring that all Georgia families have access to high-quality early learning opportunities now and in the future. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.